In this video, I'm going to show you how to get up and running quickly with RS3 Sync. Three things we need to do to get that happening. The first thing is we need to enable session time in Race Studio 3. We'll then need to select a region to scan for that session time, and then we'll show you how to load a video and sync the video and the data together so that you can scroll the information at the same time. So the first thing we need to do is enable session time. To do that in Race Studio 3, we need to go into our maths channels, which can be selected in this top right-hand corner up here where the 1, 2, 3 symbol is. If I click on that, I'm presented with the maths channels. If I go into the session time, click the gear icon. So what I'm looking for here is this SessT channel. Click the gear icon beside it, and I tell it I want to enable that session time for all sessions. So I just click enable. It was already, but anyway, we click enable. I exit that, and now we have session time enabled. I can then go into a session. I'm going to use this session here from last weekend. I'll open up this session. It'll take a little bit of time and load some data for me. I'm using a profile. It's a custom profile. If you're not familiar with profiles in Race Studio 3, that's how you can get all your screens set up the way you like them, save them as a profile, and then next time you load, those settings will come back. So now what we can see on this screen here is I have now a session time channel available to me. In my profile, I've currently got these channels listed in a custom order. So they're not in alphabetical order or the order that AIM suggests. What I can do, if you want to change that yourself, you can go up to this button up here with the red star, and you can pick custom sort. Once you've selected custom sort, you can then choose the order that you want the channels to appear. So I've put the channels I use the most towards the top, and session time at the very top. So that's why my session time is at the very top. Yours might have appeared down the bottom here under lap time or something like that. That's fine too. You can leave it there. You just need to be aware of where it is, because RS3 Sync relies on being able to see this session time number. And if you're wondering what session time is, that's the number of milliseconds that have elapsed since the data logger started recording. In the case of the go-kart here, the recording should start when the engine starts. It usually takes a couple of seconds after the engine starts, but that's what the session time is. It's the total number of milliseconds since the data logger or that data session started recording. Right, so once we have that, the next thing we'll do is go into RS3 Sync. I'll launch that app. And this is basically the video player app. So for all intents and purposes, this is a video player with some nice features that help you review motorsport videos, really, or onboard videos. One of the tricks it has is its ability to be able to read this session time from Race Studio 3 and sync the video position to exactly the same point as the data position is showing on the screen here. So one of the things we need to tell RS3 Sync is, where is the session time visible? And that's what this little icon here is, this little square to select a region. If I click on that, it will then give me a cursor where I can say, scan the area of the screen that contains the session time. So I'm going to scan this area here. It's a little bit more than we need above and below, but there is a reason for that, which will become obvious in a second. All right, so that's the second step. Once we've set that region and once we've enabled session time, we only have to do that once. So if you enable session time and then save it in your profile, so up here we can just say save profile, and whatever profile you've loaded, that means that session time will always appear in future sessions when you launch Race Studio. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is load up a video and sync it up. So I'm currently looking at a session here from March 22nd at 9:04. I'll go and tell RS3 Sync to open the matching video. In this case, the DJI camera thought daylight savings had finished, so it thinks it was created at 10:05, but that's the session we're looking for there. Normally those times would match. Okay, and now we have our video loaded in Race Studio 3. And as I said, this is now effectively a media player. I can scrub along to different sections of the video here. I can press play to play part of it. I can go back a frame at a time. I've got all sorts of keyboard shortcuts available to me as well, so I can press the back arrow to go back a frame. The down arrow will go back 10 seconds, maybe 5. Page up and down goes 10 seconds. So there's all sorts of tools available there. I can even play back at different speeds if I want. If I wanted to play back in slow motion, press the space bar, it would actually play in slow motion. But yes, it's for all intents and purposes just a video player. As I say, now that we've set this region here so that it can look for this session time, we just need to tell the RS3 Sync where is the matching time in the data compared to the video. So the way I'm going to do that, the easiest way to match these two pieces of information up is to go on the outlap. We'll shuffle the video along to the start finish line. So if I jump up here, that looks like the straight. I think we're past it. So I'll come back a second. Now I can just scrub the video up here until we're on the start finish line right there. So we've got our video on the start finish line of the outlap. So the next thing I'll do is go to the outlap on Race Studio 3. I'll highlight that. Let's turn this one off for a second. Go back to my channels so that we can see the session time number up here. Move the cursor to the end of the lap. So that would be the start finish line position on the outlap. And as we can see down here, I've got the track map down here. I can see the data is now on the start finish line. And so is my video. So I'm happy that those two are lined up. So now I can press the set sync position button, which is this one here. Set that. Now we're syncing, and the two pieces of information are now synced together. So we can see we have a green box down here saying that in RS3, the data position is at 23.21 seconds. And it's derived that from this session time number up here. Right, so now we're done. That's it. Once that is done for the video in that session, it only has to be done once. It will always remember that that offset and that sync. So next time we load this session and that video, the two pieces of information will be automatically synced together. So now if I want to go and have a look at some laps that I'm interested in, I can turn off the outlap. I'll go to, let's look, just pick a couple of laps here. So I've got 3 laps selected from that session. You might notice down the bottom right-hand corner, it's telling me that it cannot read the Race Studio 3 session time at the moment, and that's because it's not visible on the screen because I've switched over to this laps selection panel. If I go back to my channels panel, my session time will pop up. Here we go. We can't see it at the moment, and that's because the region that I said earlier is not in that area there. So I'll just quickly fix that. I'll go back to selecting the region, select the region that contains the session time in it again, and all of a sudden it can read where the session time is. It's now at the 387 seconds, which is, funnily enough, back on the start finish line. As you can see, we're already there on the start finish line, just on a different lap. Okay, so now we're linked together. So now I can shuffle around in this data in Race Studio 3, and it will show me exactly the same point on the video. So if I wanted to look at, for example, I might be interested in where the cart is, what lines we're taking through the dogleg here. And at the moment, I have the lap 8, the blue lap in the data is the reference lap. So that's what it's showing me the video for at the moment, is for lap 8. And if I click on lap 7, which is the red lap, it will jump the video to where the same point is on lap 7. We can see there, if I flick between the two, we're pretty consistent on the line there, just slightly a bit more curb on lap 8. But likewise, I can also just have a look at lap 4. It'll show me what's going on there as well. So yeah, great way just to compare lines, because one of the challenges with Race Studio 3 sometimes, if you rely on GPS and track map information, jump over and have a little bit of a look here and zoom in. You know, if we're relying on this information here, it would show us that we're taking 3 completely different lines in there, and in fact it would think the red line would be the narrowest. But if I switch from the blue to the red, we can see the red line is actually a little bit wider. So yes, when reviewing lines, then sometimes the GPS data isn't as accurate as it might like to be. It's a way to prove whether we're or getting the right information or verifying information, because we can see now what's exactly going on with the cart. Right, I'll switch back to our time distance, and let's see if we can find an anomaly here that we might want to investigate. Well, here's one straight here. So what I can see down here is a bit of a speed difference on the straight here. So we can see with our dark green lap here, we're actually 2k an hour faster than we are on the other 2 laps. And I might want to try and understand why is that. So at the moment, I'm looking at I've got my red lap set. So lap 7 is the reference lap. Now if I look at why were we faster down the straight here, I can see straight away that we've got a cart in front of us. So that 2k an hour was thanks to a slipstream, not because of a better exit or a better line, but straight away we can tell that the 2k an hour gain was from the slipstream, which again, if you were looking at data alone, you may not have realized why that was. So again, we can look back at the same information back here, where we've got also a bit more of a speed increase here. So we might want to then go, well, okay, that's interesting. What actually happened at this point in the track? I can use the cursor here to line the video up to that section. I can then just tell it to play the video from this point, and it will actually scrub through the video. I've currently got that on a slow motion, so I can see what's actually happening with the go-kart here. I can see the inputs. I can see the steering wheel input. I can even see him putting the foot on the brake at this point and where he's releasing the brake. So again, it's a great way to just dive into what happened at that point, where that a bit of anomaly is with data. All right, we'll pause that one there. This point, the video and data are out of sync at the moment because we've played the video on in RS3 Sync, but to get that back, all I need to do is just pick my data point back in Race Studio 3 and it'll cue the video up back to sync it all up again. So yeah, great little tool. Very handy if you've using GoPro or DJI or Insta360, because it works straight away. You don't need to go out and get the Smarty Cam. It's not designed to replace the Smarty Cam. You still have the challenges with remembering to start the video and to stop it. And you do have to manually sync the first time you load a video. So, but you get to keep the great quality that comes from 4K video with DJI. A couple other things. If we did want to just look at this video and play it through, I can go full screen because it is just a video player. We can go through full screen, press play, and then I can adjust speed to be normal or even faster. See what's going on. Not sure how to go there, Jacob. But, or slow it back down again to watch going. I may be really interested in where is he putting his foot on the brake at this point. And just with this camera angle we've got here, I can see exactly what's going on with the steering wheel and even the brake pedal. Yeah, pressing M will reduce the window back down again. We can also pin. Currently, this little button here pins the video screen on top of Race Studio 3. So when I click around on here, it doesn't lose focus. If I unpin that and click it, then you can see it disappears. We'll keep that on top. It's very powerful when you're using two screens, because it means you can have your video on the second monitor at full screen if you like, and be clicking around on the data. Bring that up. The other thing I'll show you just quickly, I'll demonstrate. So we had, as I said, we'd sync that data and video before. So now I've closed Race Studio 3. If I wanted to close and revisit this session, start there. I'll relaunch RS3 Sync. And if I open the video while Race Studio is doing its thing, I'll go back to that 10:05 video, tell it to open. It will open the video and it will automatically jump to this position in the data. I've got my region slightly out. One of the trade-offs, but anyway, there you go. It's once I've reselected the region that contains the session time, it's taken me straight to that same position in the data and video. So yeah, one of the things that you've got to keep in mind is this session time must be visible. So what happened there was, when I had multiple laps selected, the session time was in a slightly different position as it is now. So sometimes you need to select an area that's a little bit bigger so that it can find that information more regularly. So now I've made that region a little bit bigger. It will stay visible. So there you go. That's RS3 Sync, a great tool for letting you use existing video from any camera and syncing it with your data and helping you understand what might be going on with the data in certain situations. So yeah, that's how you get it up and running pretty quickly. Thanks for watching.